This is Rafiq Luzon, and you are tuned in to Nothing But That Sports Talk.
Oh, yeah. Welcome back to WSJU Radio. I'm Rafiq Luzon alongside Ryan Walker. Welcome back to WSJU Radio once again, my guy. It's like the third time coming over here, I imagine.
Absolutely. This one right here, right? Absolutely.
Yep, this one.
It's good. Great to be here. Great to be back. It's been a little while, but it is definitely the third time. So it's super cool to be back in the building with you, Rafiq.
Yeah, I mean, we always have shows on the Zoom call, but now we get to have Zooms like this. And shout out to those of you that are watching it at home, I imagine, because, yeah, let's just make it happen.
Absolutely.
Now, we got a lot to talk about this past week. Obviously, let's just start off as we here at St. John's University. Well, we just talked about the upcoming St. John's versus UConn matchup. And but prior to that, they've been on the 8-game winning streak, highlighted by a win the other day against DePaul.
Oh, yeah. Well, once again, yeah, of course, definitely great to be back here with you on the radio show here at St. John's, of course, on campus. I'm Wavy Walker, the voice of Strong Island. Who, for those who don't know, and make sure you stay locked in with Wavy World Podcast. If not already, subscribe. See the shirt on Wavy World Podcast, associated with Balling for Peace and NYC Elite 32. But we'll get into our own individual stuff later on. It's great to be here on campus. St. John's has been playing good ball. You know, we speak so much about our own college preferences and what we like. You know, God bless you going here now to get your master's at St. John's.
PhD.
But yes, pardon me. Oh God, yeah, I'm thinking about all the 900 different degrees. But you know, you St. John's for the PhD. But you were fortunate to be at LIU during good basketball times. You were fortunate to be at Fordham. You know what I'm saying? You might have thought they were averages, but Fordham is still a prestigious school for not only academics, but for athletics and their basketball program as well. Always
for WSUV.
Yes. Is that Rose Hill Gymnasium?
Yeah, Rose Hill.
I always love the tight, close-in atmosphere there. But now you're at St. John's and another prestigious school, especially for what they're doing with athletics and Patino coming around now and changing the competitive level so differently in the last few years. So I told you that earlier in the year, you know, the St. John's were going to have a few ups and downs. There's a lot of different pieces on the team from last year with a lot of core guys, you know, Simeon Wilchers at Texas, you know, they had a couple other guys, RJ Lewis, you know, took his services and elsewhere. A couple guys transferred out, you know, Ian Jackson, who's at North Carolina now here now. So many guys went in and out. The roster's a little different. They're now getting into a groove where you can see they're all getting the chemistry. And it was very good to see Jacob Sano, the transfer from Arizona State. He's starting to come into a little bit of a groove as well. Ian Jackson, I seen last game, had like 16 or 18 points. So he's starting to come into their rhythm. They're playing good basketball. They got to stay like that. Big East is very competitive. They know how that conference is. And everybody's got like 8 to 9, maybe 10 games tops left before we start talking about conference play. And you guys respectively with the Big East tournament. And if in regards to, if I don't know if I'm foreshadowing, but you were speaking to me about the UConn contest and the keys that St. John's will have to do there. You brought up Alex Caravan, and one thing that UConn is loaded with, they have a lot of big fellas. They got a lot of 7-footers, 6'10" guys inside.
You're telling me Solo Ball, Alex Caravan, Malachi Smith, don't let the numbers fool you. They could put up crazy plays.
Absolutely.
They're very athletic. They know how to score. They know how to shoot. Really, I mean, what more can you ask for?
No,
it's just one of those. They're number 3 in the country for a reason. And if they can get this, and if St. John's can get this win, and then Subway tournament seed is going to be locked and loaded.
Is UConn number 3 in the country right now?
Yep, number 3 in the country. They are number 3.
Are number 4. Is Arizona number 1 probably? And number 2 is oh Lord, number 2 is a powerhouse too, school too. That also could take it all. But well, this would be a big victory definitely for them. It's at the Garden, right? They're at MSG, sold out.
Yep, they're at MSG.
For Friday, 8 o'clock. And this is a big shout out to our guy, New Yorker Malachi Smith, aka Molly, who went to St. Raymond's High School.
Yeah, I know that. I just found that out. I mean, come on now.
You didn't know that?
Of course, you're gonna get somebody that. I mean, I've been doing that. I mean, of course, you're gonna end up getting somebody like that to come to UConn. I mean, why not pick up a product from St. Raymond's back? But we'll probably get more now. St. Raymond's has to produce some young boys. I mean, it's called the St. Raymond's High School for Boys for a reason.
Absolutely.
But whatever. But more to that. Yeah, like I said before, UConn's number 3. Then obviously they're behind Michigan and Arizona. and Duke is
There it
number
goes.
4.
Mhm.
But and we're going to get more into that in a minute. We talked about this off the air, but we'll get more into that in a minute. But more to the point, St. John's versus UConn. You've grown up watching college basketball. You've grown up
Absolutely.
watching sports. How much do you enjoy this type of rivalry in the Big East whenever St. John's is peak, or even when they're not good? Somehow they manage to get a win against them.
To be fair without being fair, it's always competitive and both teams don't like each other, which for good reasons, of course, is the Big East. But I hope St. John's Nation doesn't kill me with being fair. It hasn't been too much of a rivalry because UConn has really dominated over the last 15 to 20 years with matchup. But in the last few years with St. John's doing what they're doing, it's right back to what it is, and they're very competitive, and they can definitely. This is going to be a very interesting matchup. UConn is a little bit slightly favored. They definitely have the interior presence. We talked about Malachi Smith, and Molly too. What it is that Malachi Smith started off at Dayton, and then from Dayton, boom, boom, to transfer. And eventually, a few years, he was hurt a little bit. Then he did well. So now he transferred into, of course, to UConn, and they have Jacob Ross, who's a good guard forward as well. So they have good players on that team, but it's St. John's Zuby's gonna need a lot of help in the interior. They're gonna have to rebound, and they're gonna have to try to find a way to keep these big fellas off the glass. If they're feeding that basketball in there, they could be in a lot of trouble. I think St. John's, with the way they play that pressure, they're gonna have to keep a lot of pressure on the guards to keep a lot of those post entries to not happen as much, and pray that UConn is not knocking down the perimeter shot. Because if with their big fellas, it could be very interesting. And like you said, they're number 3 in the country for a reason. But St. John's is ready for the matchup. I'm sure Coach Pitino will get those guys ready. Zuby will be fine with the matchup too. He's going to be key. Him and how the rest of the cast helps him on the interior in the post is going to be key about winning. St. John's will lead that crowd. Zuby's going to have to run the floor and try to get Alex in foul trouble and keep those big fellas moving too. And somehow, some way, he's got to get some more interior help. So if Zellers has to do more, if Ian Jackson has to do more,
Ruben Prey has to do a little bit more.
They have to.
I mean, come on now, Ruben Prey. He's averaging 10. He's averaging 4 points, but he showed you he can be an impact player. And obviously, after the game against William Mary, he has the ability to go after their on the defender's attack on the fast break. I've seen him block. I've seen him do some blocks on the fast break. I've seen him pick up rebounds and put it back in. I even seen him have some kind of a shooting 3-point ability. So that has to get better. And you mentioned Zuby Edgerford. He's averaging 15.7 points per game, and he's one of the top players in the Big East. But he does tend to look suspect at times, and that's something that has to get better.
Well, I think that remember we talked about it. The team last year is just so different. They had Kadari Richmond. They had RJ Lewis. They had a lot of upperclassmen guys and different guys in there to also help as well. This team took a little time to gel. But if Zuby's running that floor and rebounding and can make a few of those perimeter shots, don't live too much on the perimeter per se, but take the big fella out for UConn, it's going to be so key. But he's going to need help. He's got to stay out of foul trouble. And the guys have just got to help them. UConn they've got 7-footers over that basketball team.
You're telling me Alex Carabin, he's a problem.
Big time problem.
The guy can hit the 3. He can score on the inside. He can hit the mid range shot. And just when you think you catch a sleeping, you don't catch a sleeping. I've seen him hit a shot all the way from Long Island.
Yeah.
See what I did there?
Strong now. If you look at their roster, Malachi Smith is 6 feet. And he's one of the shortest guys in that entire roster.
I've seen him hit a 3-point shot with just one hand.
Oh yeah,
literally back against Illinois on Thanksgiving Day. That guy's a pro. That guy can shoot as well.
Yeah.
Sorry, Johnny's had to put it on you. UConn is one of the most dangerous teams, and I've had conversations with some other Johnnies. We know that some expected to win, but some know it's not going to be easy.
And also shout out to, since we mentioned St. Ray's, not only Malachi Smith, Brandon Storrs Jr., who's at Georgia Tech, and my guy back in the days, I got to make sure he hears this part too, Dion Merritt, the head coach of Eagle Academy Queens, went to St. Ray's back in the days, and full scholarship went Division I as well too. So Real Skills, who's teaching the kids, my man Dion Merritt. So St. Ray's, and there's so many more. That's a program, like you said, that produces a lot of
okay.
So UConn and St. John's is going to be a good matchup, and shout out to Malachi. But you know what? I want St. John's to get this victory this weekend. It'd be nice if Friday night they can get that victory. UConn would be a tough team. And even if they lose that game, they're a tournament team. They don't need to do anything in my eyes. They need to just continue to keep winning. If they get to 18, 19 wins and get 2 wins in the Big East tournament based off what they did last year of going to the tournament, Pitino, the eye test, that's the biggest thing I always tell you about the selection too. It's not the eye test.
It's about
when you look at St. John's, do they look like a
exactly.
tournament team?
They do. They won 8 in a row.
That's where they should be.
I mean, serious. They won 8 in a row. They shake it off that one Big East loss they've had against Providence, and they shake it off those losses against Kentucky and those Ray teams they were playing earlier this year in Vegas. They shaking that loss up, and obviously, of course, the loss to Alabama. They were ranked number 5 in the country at the time. But that loss against Alabama really knocked them out of the top 5 big time, because it's really a wake-up call. And them being outside the top 5 at one point in the season before they won their way back in, now they're ranked number 2 in the country, 22 in the country. That was a wake-up call that St. John's needed.
Well,
you can't go into. I mean, you told me before,
mm-hmm.
just because you're ranked to begin the season, that doesn't mean nothing. It's how well you do throughout the season.
Yeah.
And throughout the season, they literally show you why they're ranked number 22 in the country. They know they can win games, but can you do it against ranked teams outside the conference?
Yeah.
You barely lose to Iowa State, and of course you got wrecked by Auburn, and then you got wrecked by Kentucky. That's the reason why they got snuffed out of the CBS Sports Classic for at least the next 3 years. Now, this is a big one. They've got quad one wins, but you have 2 opportunities to get a quad one win against UConn, potentially 3. This is literally going to be the UConn St. John's show. Do
they have them 2 times on a regular season?
2 times in the regular season, and then let's not forget, they could possibly face the in the Big East tournament. St. John's has that in their mind since 2 years ago. They lost them in the semifinals in 2024.
Yeah. Your goal is, I think they're in a position that your goal is you want to try to make sure that you're 75% certified before you even step into your Big East tournament, and that's the biggest thing. I'm spoiled as a Duke fan. Like you said, we'll get into other matters about that as we continue to talk college and go to the pros and so on and so forth. But the only reason why St. John's dropped so much, and that's why I told you that starting in that first 10 or 25 is not necessarily great. Like if you're really good and not a mid-major, but a team that's not in the top 25, and that's only just because they just rank the top 25. Everybody's ranked in college basketball. Somebody's 432nd or whatever the number is, but everybody's ranked per se. So you want to be in that core of 50 to 30. Mm-hmm. Because if you're decent throughout the year, it's going to pendulum. And it's just simple arithmetic. Even with the good teams, the top ones are going to lose sooner or later. This year's a little tough because I'm going to just be very honest, even as a Duke fan. Michigan, Arizona, and and UConn are way above the rest. And UConn is beatable. We've fought that, but Michigan and Arizona are really damn good. Pardon my French. They're really, really good. They're loaded with a lot of upperclassmen. They have all the proper height guys at their position. They're really good. So, and that's why Arizona's going to dominate so much. And big shout out to Miami of Ohio, Wally Zerbiak's old school. Because Wally, I believe they're still the only undefeated team in the country. And it was a big, big deal. Somebody else went there as well. So I think that St. John's, the reason why they dropped so much is because they haven't had consistent years of being in that top 10. So now as they continue to keep doing this all these years and they get in their respect, they're never going to be like situations like that. Like, for example, Duke started, what did we start off? 6th in the country, 5th? Mm-hmm. We lost, right? To Texas Tech.
Yeah, you lost to Texas at the Garden. I know that hurts.
It sucked because they should have won that game. They were up 17 to 18 points. Mm-hmm. But it happens. It happens. Texas Tech is a good team. They went from whatever it was to whatever, and now they're still at 4th because, Michigan is so damn good. And Arizona's so damn good. So you have to wait forever for them to lose. And, maybe UConn, you know what? Let's go St. John's. So Can you please find a way to beat UConn? So if Duke continues to do what they do, and they have a tough contest against North Carolina this Saturday on TV as well too. I hope that we win, but I think we might get a loss, and I do want us to get a loss eventually because I don't want us to go right into the tournament like winning every game. That's never good with a young core. But St. John's will be fine. They'll get right back into it. If they win this, that'll definitely push them back into the top 25. But I think if they continue to do well in the conference, well, how many wins do they have now? 15?
Yeah, somewhere around those realms.
If they can get to 21 wins, 22 by the end of the season, they're definitely going to the tournament. They go to the Big East tournament, and they even look competitive, and they're going to win. No, they're big. I expect St. John's to be in the semifinals minimum of the Big East tournament. Anything else would be a disappointment, and they'll get in and they'll go from there. And if our future matchup about you guys playing my Duke University. Well, I didn't go to Duke, pardon me. I went to Cheney University of Pennsylvania, but the college team that I like, Duke, we would love to see that matchup, and that's a whole other conversation.
You know what? Well, you know what? We will start off with this conversation, and I spoke to you over the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Duke versus St. John's. And St. John's fan, Johnny's, listen to this.
Please listen.
Duke is the one team that I want. There are a lot of teams I want to face, especially Arkansas, who knocked us out of the second round last year. But the one team that I do want is the Duke Blue Devils.
Well,
I mean, think about that. Let that process. The Duke Blue Devils is the one team that I want St. John's to face in the NCAA tournament. I don't care if it's in the Sweet 16. We want to take out the Duke Blue Devils. Say it with me, Johnnies. We want to take out the Duke Blue Devils. Think about that.
You should sing that song too as well. What was that? What's the alma mater song you told me about?
There once was a squad for Jamaica Queens that went by the name of New York team. The kindness shook and the fans they wore. Let's go St. John's Red Storm.
All right.
Soon may the Red Storm come to rock the rim and make our run. One day when the winning is done, we'll cut the nets and go. Da 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 da. So think about that. That's gonna be a celebration. I want Duke in the tournaments.
Hey, listen.
What you think about that? And and Duke's undefeated in the conference, but North Carolina's behind you like 3.5 games. They're real. That's gonna be a real tough matchup for you this weekend.
Kids tested, mother approved. We're Ford tough, and I'll tell you this much, man. Been a Duke fan since '92, since a young jit. Coach K, God bless him, and I'm not gonna leave the program liking them anytime soon. They do what they're supposed to do. Be careful what you ask for, because sometimes you just might get it. And if in a miraculous world we're in the same bracket, we're not afraid of any smoke. They're not going to be timid about the matchup. And that's all due respect to St. John's. Like I said, Rick Pitino is a phenomenal coach. I'm a big Zuby fan. I think Sellers is a baller. I like what Jake Sonone is doing. It's great to see Captain Ian Jackson back home in Big New York, and now he's starting to get into.
He's averaging 11. He's averaging 11 points, two rebounds, and like 1.4 assists.
Yeah, since we talk about St. Ray's, a big shout out Ian Jackson, Cardinal Hayes, City and Catholic champ when he was here.
OSL,
our Xavier Louverin, the overtime elite John, all that stuff, and so on and so forth. So he did so well. And 1 year in North Carolina, to come from New York and go to a big ACC school. I remember Captain Jack might have been a McDonald's All-American, but he had all those recognitions. So big shout out to him for St. John's and for what he's doing.
Yeah, shout out. And you are listening to Rafiq Lewis on Ryan Walker at WSJU Radio. Oh, yeah, and getting back to you. And since we're talking about Duke, you're carried by this guy named Cameron Boozer.
Yeah.
Averaging about 23 points, 9 rebounds, and 4 assists. No wonder why Duke has destroyed everybody in ACC.
Best freshman in the nation and debatably one of the best players in the nation. Top 4, top 5, easy.
Yeah.
You got AJ, Master, you got Devin Peterson, you got some really top good players there that I'm forgetting out. So I'm just having a brain fart. Duke has a good team, bro.
Isaiah Evans, Patrick, the second, average 11 points.
Yep.
Khalid Foster, Camden Boozer,
the younger Boozer. Yep.
Nicolas. You guys got some pieces.
Alex Sarr. We got a lot of guys on. Here's what I was at my local deli around near my neighborhood in Long Island, and I was talking sports to the young cat. Then he's a Duke fan like me. And he's got the game on. He's like watching the game. It's like 2-3 weeks ago. And he's like, man, I like this team, but I don't. And he's like, I said, let me tell you. He was comparing to last year. Now, last year is unfair because last year Duke was more offensively gifted than they are now. They had Cooper Flag.
Mhm.
I pledge allegiance to the flag, who everybody told me was going to be terrible, a bust, and everything. Patrick, everything. Everybody told me, oh, he's the next great white hype. He's this. He's not good. He's not blah 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 blah. He's doing pretty good in the NBA, right?
Yeah, yes,
Rookie
but
of the year.
but the team's losing. But then again, it's fine.
That's not his fault.
That's not his fault.
That's not his fault at all.
And they trade Anthony Davis to Washington
Correct.
of all teams. I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know what the Mavericks were thinking trading away.
To rebuild.
I know they're in a rebuilding phase because Luka Doncic's era didn't work, but still, I don't know what you were thinking doing that trade.
Now think about this. Cooper Flag, like I tell people, Cooper Flag classified up. When he was considered a senior in high school, he was really supposed to be a junior. He classified up. When he went to Duke University, he was supposed to be a senior in high school. He's playing against college guys, and now the game is more grown and mature.
I'm not mad about that. Right? You seen him ball on the Jordan Brand Classic a few years ago at the Barclays. He balled out.
So now, but just think about this hypothetically. So when you're a freshman in college, you were supposed to be a senior, but you classified up. Some people classified down. He classified up.
I'm mad about that.
He played the 1 year at Duke. He goes to the pros. He's supposed to be a freshman in college now. He's not dominating. He's coming to his own and playing very well on that level in the pros.
He has to take out literally anybody in the pros.
Con Knipple is damn near second now in Rookie of the Year, if not winning it as well too, because he's having a dynamite year.
Look what he's doing for Charlotte Hornets. They're doing better than we thought.
Dynamite. So to a point where these two offensive prodigies just left our team, and our big fella, the big fella in the interior. We had 4 guys that went to, or at least put themselves in the draft. I'm not sure what happened with Tyrese Proctor. I know he entered it. I don't know if maybe he's G League or whatever, but 4 guys offensively left from the team last year. So we're not as great offensively as we were last year, but we're methodical with our offense because we can put the ball inside. To Boozer, face up, 3-point, he can do it all. Caleb Foster's coming into his own as a junior, shooting and knocking the ball down. We're getting good play from Boozer, the younger Boozer. He's finally into a starting position. We have a backup behind him if need that. Isaiah Evans is a knockdown shooter, has added the dribble drive to his game. We got what's my guy? The kid, oh God, I forget his name, the Dreads, our best defender on the team, and a transfer senior that we still have from last year's team, Malik Brown, who's phenomenal for us defensively, stretches the floor, can do so many things. And we have Bumba in the interior. So this Duke team, believe it or not, they're not more talented than the team last year, but they're just as good. And they might have a chance to make a deeper run than the team last year, who should have went maybe to the national championship. But it is what it is. You know how March Madness is. It's one game at a time. Anything can happen. But we're looking forward to playing anybody in the matchup.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing anybody too. And it's time to, I got to hype up the Giants because we at WSJU Radio. Rafiq Lewis on Ryan Walker. Yeah, this is going to be a very interesting contest. It made the best team win.
If it happens.
Ben. Even if we don't face each other or we both end up fighting for the Final Four. Anything can happen in March.
Oh, absolutely.
Anything.
And I'm still always loving St. John's, Hofstra, all the schools, all the New York metropolitan schools. It's all about, the kids in the program. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Let's get into some NBA trade deadline deals that just went down today.
And hold on, Rafi, before we go into the trade deadline, big shout out to my guy, Terrell Holloway, who just got put into the Hall of Fame at Xavier University. He wasn't in the Big East then, but Xavier wasn't in the Big East then, but of course, now it's going to be a big thing. At Madison Square Garden, the Big East tournament, they're going to do another thing for him. They're going to commemorate some of the players that, Big East are affiliate, and he's going to get commemorated as well, too. So that's my man, Terrell Holloway, Hempstead, New York, Xavier University, number 52 in the rafters.
Yeah, I know. I know. I'm glad you're saying that as we enter Wavy's world.
Yeah. Absolutely, the Wavy's world. We got to get 2 on there. We got to get you on there too. We spoke about some other stuff.
Don't worry about that.
NBA.
Yeah, we get some NBA. Obviously, the Lakers acquired Kennard from the Atlanta Hawks, and the big one for me, the New York Knicks picked up Jose Alvarado.
Yeah,
New York product.
Beautiful.
Obviously, the guy has a defense to take down anybody.
Mm-hmm.
He should have been gotten out of the New Orleans Pelicans a long time ago in a rebuild. The Cam Thomas got cut for the Brooklyn Nets. The rebuild is real. Now, when you think about the Knicks getting Jose Alvarado, what will he do for the bench production that the Knicks need?
Well, first of all, welcome home. It's great to have Jose Alvarado home, man. We had a good run today with all this metropolitan stuff. Jose Alvarado, Christ the King, Brooklyn kid, went to high school in Queens, of course, at Christ the King, Georgia Tech. I believe he won an ACC championship there. He might have beat my Duke in one of those games in one of those things as well too. Might have been defensive rookie of the year when he was there. But this kid is a certified winner. And so it's great to have him here. I'm hearing Deuce McBride is going to be out a little longer than what we anticipated. I'm seeing that they're saying possible return playoffs. So if Deuce is going to be out, and we love Deuce. Deuce is a great shooter, can defend, and does good things for the Knicks. We wish him a good recovery. Thank God that we have guys to wait out for that time. So hopefully Deuce will be back to add an even more punch, but we needed it. Now, even with this now, we have a true backup point guard. I'm not saying that Deuce wasn't good at that per se. Deuce is more of an off guard, even though he can play the point guard position, because Deuce is so good at shooting the ball and can do some things offensively. Kolek is a very good backup point guard too, so I don't want nobody to kill me in that. And I love Tyler Kolek. I love his energy. I love the way he can shoot it. He always finds other guys involved. He's getting better at being tenacious on the defensive end. He definitely puts in the effort. You know what I'm saying? It's just another consistent reps. He needs to just get to the next level completely, being able to run the offense in the team after that. But he does fine, still does fine. I don't think the Knicks completely trusted that, whether right or wrong, and they wanted a solidified backup point guard. They've talked about Alvarado coming here in previous months. But with Deuce being out now, it was the perfect time to go get Jose there. You have a solidified backup guy. This guy plays tenacious defense. He will get steals, get in the passing lane. Not a high turnover guy. Will run the offense. Very capable of knocking down an open three-point shot. And you know what he brings to the table. The fire, the tenacity. He's a New Yorker. He's going to be perfect for the Garden. When you sit down Brunson and you put in a live wire like that, it's going to be great for the minutes. So shout out to that. Him and Kolek and the guys will play together. I thought that was very, very good how they used the piece from the trade with the Bulls, right? Because that's how Green got over here, right? They sent over Yabusele to Chicago, and then Green came over, and then they got Alvarado. So it's a good pickup. I wish they would have got another big fella by accident off waivers, but I think they trust what they're going to do with Hawkporty. Maybe they'll play Jameson the third a little bit more in the interior if they put him on the roster consistently from him in the G League, and also the French kid, but he's more of a 3 or 4. I love his game. The what's the other gentleman I'm forgetting? He knocks down a lot. Mahas Diarra. There we go, Diarra, who can also, I guess, play a little bit interior as well.
He showed his ability to hit the 3 and score on the interior. Mm-hmm. It's just a matter of working towards being more useful by the time we get to the postseason.
Yes.
Because you got Mitchell Robinson, who can't play back-to-back because of his injury history. Mike Brown has managed him a little bit, but when he does play, even though he may not be as good with free throws, so he's shooting like 45% for the free throw line, but he does have the ability to attack the rim and with his athleticism, and he can play strong defense.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, Mitchell
Robinson always had that ability. It's just a matter of him getting adjusted, going from what was a rebuilding Knicks almost 7 years ago, to a playoff team right now.
Well, I
literally a homegrown talent right there.
He's the best offensive rebounder in basketball. Mm-hmm. I don't even think there's even a question. Like he's so phenomenal at that, and it was so beautiful even to watch last night's game against Denver in double overtime. And
yeah, exactly. He carried the defense for the New York Knicks when Karl-Anthony Towns fouled out. And honestly, well, the way it ended with his first overtime was kind of messed up when Mikal. Well, I thought it was over, and Mikal Bridges.
I hate that call.
This was called for a foul with 0.3 of a second. But at the very least, I mean, obviously, if we had lost that game, it would have been that would have been the one main reason for that happening. But the winning streak is safe for another day. We got the Detroit Pistons, who's literally
big time matchup.
On one hand, it's the same Detroit Pistons that we defeated the first round, courtesy of Jalen Brunson, who's averaging 27.4 points and shooting 47% for the field, by the way.
MVP.
On the other hand, you obviously had to mind for the Pistons have grown up a lot since that loss in the first round, and they want the New York Knicks. Do you think that they're the bigger threat to the Knicks getting to the NBA Finals?
Oh, of course. They're the
because to me, any team that I know we defeated them. If we had lost them, it would have been a totally different conversation. I can't say nothing. But we did defeat them, so it's hard to say whether or not they're going to be a threat to the Knicks. But then again, it's also not hard because they're number 1 seed.
Yeah, two similar teams, but two different teams because they had Beasley on the team last year. Beasley, they had a couple guys hurt too. Ivy wasn't playing. A couple guys were out. Isaiah Stewart was
But
not
Jaden Ivey
developed.
got traded.
Right, he did. He just get dealt. You're right. And him, I know Isaiah Stewart was out for that series. He's healthy now. The guys are more healthy now. The Pistons are the two best teams in the East are the New York Knicks and the Detroit Pistons.
And don't forget they have that kid. Don't forget they have that young dude who used to play at St. John's.
On which team?
Yeah, Detroit Pistons. Don't forget they have that young dude who used to play for St. John's a while back. I mean, it wasn't that long ago the Pistons played for him. Obviously, his name's going to come together in a minute. Shout out to them, but more to the point, this Pistons team, this Detroit Pistons team, they're not playing around. Kane Cunningham is literally turned this franchise around.
No,
they're back to being the Detroit Pistons that we've known from since the Chauncey Billups days. Dennis Jenkins, shout out to him. St. John's product, St. John's alum. We gotta give shout out to him. He's doing a phenomenal job elevating that Pistons franchise with his shooting. He's literally turning it up.
No, that's big time. They got good players. They'll be
7.9 points per game. I mean, obviously he's a bench warmer, but you know it's gonna be a problem.
Yeah, he's definitely key. They have a good team. They're well rounded. They most likely they'll have the home court advantage if the Knicks play them in the Eastern Conference Finals. So we'll have to be road warriors and try to turn that series around. When we're playing our best, I love our chances against them. I mean, you got to look at it like this. We haven't played OKC as of yet this season, but let's be honest. We beat Denver last night. It was one of the top teams in basketball, right? Double overtime. Both teams were going at it. I know they didn't have no Aaron Gordon. I know they didn't have one other player, but we still beat them. And including that matchup, that's 8 straight times we beat the Denver Nuggets. So think about that over the last few years, okay? And we beat the San Antonio Spurs in the Cup, who are also a top team and also a top team in the Western Conference, and we lost a game that we should have won to them a little bit after the holidays, after the Cup, where I think big shout out to Champagne, another New York guy, Bishop Lockland High School, who shot the lights out of us that game. I think he had like 9 or 10 or 11 threes, some crazy number. So if we play competitive against them and beat the Spurs and we beat the Nuggets, I want to see how we play against the Oklahoma City Thunder, because I know we can. When the Pistons beat us, they did beat us, give them all that strength. The Knicks were also playing their most terrible basketball of the year, losing 9 out of the 11 games. You know what I'm saying?
They were dealing with injuries to Josh Hart.
Yeah, and they did what they were supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? I wish we could have that what game was that? The Dallas game back.
Yeah, we got smoked on Martin Luther King's Day, but what do we say about Cooper Flagg?
I mean, Cooper Flagg is. I pledge allegiance to the flag.
What do we say about Cooper Flagg when he played at the Garden? The top product in a basketball team playing the Garden just brings the same energy as the New York Knicks.
And we were playing like crap. That was our stretch when we were playing like. That was the worst game that I've seen. Like, literally, I've watched. We had two different 4-game losing streaks. We had 2 different 4-game losing streaks in January, but we ended strong. Well, now we're currently in an 8-game winning streak. Yes,
we got the Detroit Pistons tomorrow.
So we'll see how we do, and it'll be a big matchup.
Yeah.
If they beat them, think about this. That'll be a victory against the Pistons, a victory against the Spurs, and a victory against the Nuggets. You're definitely a contender and a title team. So it's just up to them, staying together. Clearly, the team is going to stay together. Thank God no trades happen. They got enough guys in that locker room. With Brunson playing at an MVP level again, Karl Anthony Towns, when it's on his game, is doing his thing and played very solid last night. We want to make it. Listen, got bloodied his face, still played through, made shots. Robinson's great out there. Josh Hart is doing great things. Landry Shamet is a breath of fresh air, doing great things on the court. They just picked up Alvarado. You know what you're going to get from Kolek. You got some young guys with Dyra and the other young cats. You get them play and put Clarkson, put him back into the mix. They have a good team. Let's write it out and see what happens. And if that doesn't work out, then you talk in the summer about all those other big names, and that's another conversation from there.
Yeah, I'm glad that they kept all their players. I mean, they needed Karl Anthony Towns around. He was averaging about almost 20 points. Actually, 19.9 to be exact. Almost 12 points, 11.9 to be exact. That's something the Knicks need in order for them to actually become one of the bigger threats in the Eastern Conference.
Absolutely.
Now, to wrap up the show, let's talk about your favorite memories from St. John's versus UConn growing up. Your favorite matchup.
Oh, man. they've had some interesting ones. Um, going back, I think the best ones that I can remember is the days when Ron Artest and the guys were there, because the games were so competitive, and UConn was really good around those times. I mean, these are around the times when Khalid El Amin and Richard Hamilton was on UConn, and Ron and those guys. I mean, Eric Barkley's, those guys. Those are big time matchups. Those guys used to go at it. Um, so that probably, those years were big moments. But I mean, just individually, St. John's, things that I could, and UConn as well, since that's a matchup to talk about. I mean, we know Kemba Walker here, the cardiac Kemba, 6 overtime was special in Madison Square Garden, and him being a New York kid, Rice High School, no longer exists, the Castle Hill kid, Soundville kid. So that was be a big time matchup. And St. John's, honestly, I think them winning, not just the Big East tournament. I remember one time St. John's with, I think it might have been either with Daryl Showtime Hill or Marquise Hatton, one of them. They beat my Duke very bad at the Garden. I mean, they, and that was a big time moment. They were on cloud. I never, my friend Franz, he called me from here to the end of time. So that was a big time moment and big time thing for St. John's. And it's a big time matchup between those schools, and they're gonna have a good one today. But definitely the Ron Artest years, Khalid Amin years, those are big time matchups between those programs.
Yeah, big time. Well, I'll wrap this episode.
And Feek, before we go, Gotham Hoops. Well, you got to tell them about Queens College. You
Oh yeah,
we can't. About Queens College.
Oh yeah, we can't just. Oh yeah, we can't just forget about that, because just recently I've been working at Queens College, and the team,
it doesn't matter.
At least it's good experience. It's experience together. Mm-hmm. For those who are looking for internships,
yes,
you can just keep Queens College in mind, because even though you might not get the best basketball product, but it is a good working environment for anybody learning how to become camera operator and PA announcer. Let's just say that.
Yeah, and without, you're right, but without poo-pooing on them, the Queens College has a good program for the male and the females. They're just having a tough year, you know what I'm saying? And they're really in a division, in a conference that's not easy. Yeah. Recruiting is not easy, and playing on that level is not easy. These schools and these programs they're playing are good, and it takes time for that progression. So, but in order to get good, sometimes you got to be bad, and you got to take your butt whooping sometimes in order to get back up there. So big shout out to the ladies of the program, and to continue to keep the fight. Kevin Durant said it best. We're not losing, we're learning how to win. So you just got to figure it out piece by piece. And it was great. Shout out to my man Ray from Gotham Hoops, and Andres, the announcer with the Long Island Nets, for giving me an opportunity to do PA announcing at the Gotham Hoops tournament this Sunday that just passed at Stevenson High School. It was a very, very good moment.
Shout out to you for that one. That was a good job.
I thank you so much. It was special to do that, and I'm gonna try to get more into those realms too. The other part of doing this microphone stuff, to get into the PA announcing, it was very, very good. You learn the players a lot more easier, and you can get, the relationship and rapport with them. So, of course, I always had a great rapport with Patrick School, my man Ike there. And shout out to my man Ike for also giving me the call to speak to those guys. So the Patrick School National was there, OSL National was there, Mel was in the building. Good to see Mel. Eventually, he'll be at St. Louis University. They had some other guys going to Idaho State. The guy, TJ Wall, very good player from Jersey. They have so many good players there. Jalen Menhu, very good player. So Eric Hillsman, OSL has some very good players on the well. So Fleury Kuminga, shout out to Fleury Kuminga, freshman 2029 class. His brother Jonathan Kuminga, who's now on the Atlanta Hawks, right? I believe so. So that was big time too. It was good to get the experience. So now with podcasting, radio shows we do the nothing but the sports stuff. We do the Zoom shows like that. I do the basketball announcing, the commentary, the live streaming. So many different realms of a microphone now. So the PA announcing will be another way to go. And it was a great tournament and great to be there. And big shout out to another thing we got to put out there too. Prime Wave live stream. We're locked.
You do a good job with those Prime Waves. And I already told you, my constructive criticism. Ring the alarm.
Ring the alarm. Yes. Listen,
quarter water hero sack in a bag of Lays.
Yes, quarter water hero sandwich in a bag of Lays, and you got to check your lunchbox as you get your layup, man. The Prime Wave live stream is up, guys. All high schools. I mean, we started off in Queens. We're going to definitely be back with Eagle Queens for their upcoming season as well, too, even though they're going to the Borough Championships and the playoffs as well, too. So we'll be there for that. But all Queens high schools, Forest Hills, Cardozo, Martin Van Buren, Campus Magnet, Eagle, Queens Construction, anybody who needs live streaming done to get exposure for your players, the coaches, the staff, the families. We're here to do that. You can go on Instagram, lock in with us, talk to my man Prime Russell Miller, and lock in a season for us. We got the vendor's license, and we have made Takeover a nonprofit organization. So we got the vendor's license to be able to go to any one of the high schools and work with the state in order to take care of finances for us and still cover the live stream for you guys for the school. So please let us know about that. We're going to be doing stuff for the playoffs. That's Prime Wave live stream. So lock in with that. Lock in with Wavy Walker. Check out my podcast, The Born for Peace and NYC Lead 32. We just finished the episode, and you know what? I'm going to let the cat out the bag. You're going to love this one. Tuesday coming up, Mano on the show. All Ball TV. You know All Ball TV. They scared. I'm not. All Ball TV will be there. We're going to be talking all Knicks talks with that one. And we're going to have Andre Edwards with Shots with a Patience, one of the most renowned City and Long Island coaches and programs, a team underrated, with Shots with his Patience with his prep program. With there, we'll have Jeremiah Webb, who was an all-time, not all-time, 1,000-point scorer at Wyandanch High School. Joel Beard will be there. Khalil Mitchell will have players as well, too. So next week's show is going to be crazy. Please lock in with Wavy World. You'll see that one out there. Prime Wave live stream. PA going on, and Rafiq, Queens College taking over, St. John's radio and media taking over. Literally taking over, and PhD loading, man. So there's nothing else we can say about that.
Yeah, nothing else. This is Rafiq Luz. I'm alongside Ryan Wavy Walker. We'll see you next time here on WSU Radio.
Good. It's good work, man. Yeah, and plenty of time. Rafiq got time to get to his class. Yep, finished before 6. I like that one. That was good, man.